Enough time has passed since X-Men 97 aired its final episode. We got the spoiler warning out of the way. I'm going to be talking X-Men 97. I'm going to be talking about characters and what we should hope for, maybe expect from an MFF update in the near future. Because there's actually a lot of characters that it touches on. X-Men 97 was an amazing series. I urge you to go watch it. It was fantastic. So good. And there's just so many possibilities. Frankly, I think one update for X-Men 97 and Marvel Future Fight is not enough. And I strongly urge the devs to go at least 2, maybe even 3 updates. Like, honestly, they could do a full update plus a mid-month, or a full update plus 2 mid-months. And if you agree with me, share this video, like this video, comment on this video to signal boost it on social media. So let's get into it by talking about, first of all, who's in the X-Men 97 series that doesn't need to get anything, because there's a long list of characters and we want to get through the ones that genuinely appear and don't need anything. And we'll start off with 3 big ones here. Cable, he appears frequently as of like the 3rd episode. He starts time traveling, starts body sliding in. He obviously doesn't need anything. He's very, very meta. Jean is also featured prominently in the series. Also doesn't need anything. It would be cool to see her actually go back to her roots, because she doesn't have any, like, all her outfits in the show actually are not like this, except for a brief appearance as Phoenix Force. But yeah, it would actually be a brand new look for her. But I think it's too soon to bring her back into the meta properly for PvP, and she's still way too strong for PvE, so she honestly does not need anything. The one who probably exemplifies not needing an X-Men 97 update the most is this guy right here. And I hate to say that because you guys know how much of a simp I am for Wolverine, but not only is he still good, but Deadpool and Wolverine movie is around the corner. It's 2 months away. So they should just choose. Either they give him something for that, or they give him something for X-Men 97, but they shouldn't do both. It would be wrong to do. As much as I would love to see 2 Wolverine uniforms in 1 year, I feel like it would be wrong. And this uniform is still very, very strong. Now, a lot of people have speculated and have said it would be really cool if X-Men's uniform for X-Men and Deadpool, which is similar to, it's similar to this one, I would say. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar. It would be really cool if that uniform was just for PvE. And then they created a sort of like hybrid role for him, sort of like Farmer Thanos, where you have this for PvP, and then you have the X-Men and Deadpool update for PvE. I think that would be great. I honestly think most native tier 2s and native tier 3s should go that way. So I think that Thanos being a pilot is good, and I think they should continue that trend. They don't have to make one of them seasonal. I think that's cringe, but they should genuinely say, in the year that they're going to rework a native tier 2 character, they should say, all right, we're going to give them 2 uniforms this year. We're going to release the first one for PvE or PvP or whatever. And then 4 to 6 months down the line, we're going to drop another one for the other game mode sort of exclusively or in particular. But there's still way more mutants that get covered and don't need anything. For example, Magneto, extensively covered throughout the X-Men series. Would I love to see him get an X-Men 97 uniform? Yes. Does he need one? Absolutely not. At this point, ABXL players are getting bored of Magneto, despite how easy he is to use, and they're wondering what's next, which is crazy to say. Also, Rogue featured prominently. She got her seasonal uniform not that long ago. She also does not need anything. So a good chunk of the characters that are featured that we have in the game actually don't need anything at all, which is pretty impressive that they have made so many mutants meta, and I sort of tip my cap to them. Now let's look at sort of like the maybe characters. These are the ones that I'm not 100% sure about, but I'm on the fence. First one up is Madeline. She's featured much more in the beginning of the series and not much at the end of the series. Her look is essentially the same, but the reason why I call her a maybe is because she hasn't really lived up to her value as a native tier 2 epic quest unlockable for 7,700 crystals, needing Rachel and Hope Summers. Kind of a crazy cost for the character. So if she could get something to bump her up a little bit, to put her back in the meta for PvP, yeah, that would be nice. But again, what would the look be? It would just be more of this. Hell, I love this. Don't get me wrong. This looks great. This looks fantastic. But what are they going to do exactly? They're going to maybe make her hair different, change the glow on the hands from red to green, add some actual goblins. Like, we don't actually know. Another one that for me is kind of a maybe is Storm. Now, I think some people will disagree with me on this one. I think Storm is good. She could be better. I would love for Storm to get a non-seasonal uniform for sure. But then again, the one from the show it looks good, but it's not her best look, in my opinion. Like, she has better looks from the comics. She has better looks from the Hickman House of X series, the Krakoan Age stuff. She has some really, really banger looks. I mean, just take the, take the Hellfire Gala look, for example. Looks gorgeous. So I'm not married to the X-Men 97 look for Aurora. I would still like to see her get buffs for sure. But yeah, that's kind of one that I'm kind of a maybe about. Another one that I'm a maybe about, as much as I want to say yes, is Professor X. This is one of the tier 4s that I regret the most in the game. I think they did him so dirty. He should be so much stronger. Like, when you compare him to Magneto, you compare him to Cable, he's so weak. He's so weak. The problem is, if you've seen the series, or if you don't, spoiler alert, he's in a wheelchair for the whole series, besides the stuff that he does with the Shi'ar Empire and Lalandra. So what are they going to do? They're going to give us Lalandra, alien, space sex having, interspecies fornicating Professor X, Charles. They could also do Charles as a teacher, right? So they could make him stand up, but he's wearing his sort of professor's outfit, like he does when he goes into the minds of all those Shi'ar and he sort of tries to school them on stuff. And then he realizes that some X-Men have died. Cough, cough. Yeah, but I'm still kind of a maybe about that, because there are other characters that deserve it more than Professor X, as much as I would like to see Professor X get a huge upgrade. A lot of these other characters I'm not really going to touch on. They make very brief cameos in X-Men 97, like Omega Red makes a brief cameo, Sabretooth makes a brief cameo. Emma Frost makes an extended cameo where she discovers her sort of additional mutation where she gets the diamond form. But again, really, really short cameo, almost not worth, in my opinion, giving her a uniform for. I don't know if Angel actually makes an appearance at all. And then some of these other guys. Bishop is featured quite a bit. I think he's also a maybe. I would like to see him get a uniform. I know he's just an empty, transcended character. But again, for Bishop, there are just, in my opinion, better options. Jubilee is also another one that's pretty obvious. I think she should get something. She's also getting a ton of love in the comics right now, so I think sooner or later she will be getting a tier 3 and she will be getting a big bump. I think they could even give her a tier 3 and a tier 4 back-to-back like they did for Gladiator. I think it's fine. She's a premium character. People forget. But yeah, I would like to see her get something. She's definitely a yes for me, but I could see how she is a maybe for a lot of people. I didn't really talk about any of the new characters, but just off the top of my head, Forge and Sunspot's for sure the number one. That absolutely should be added to the game as a new character. Then Forge, second place, not as inclined to battle, right, and obvious as a choice, but still good. And then third would be Morph. Morph would just be like the male version of Mystique, but I still think that would be cool. And then when you use Wolverine, when you use Morph as Wolverine's tier 4 skill, or vice versa, Wolverine goes, "This one's for you, Morph," which I think would be just fantastic. So yeah, that about wraps it up for the maybes, and now we get to the like absolute yeses. Like Jubilee was like a soft yes, but I think it's high time they do something for Beastman. He's the only X-Men from the original Epic Quest that hasn't gotten a tier 4, and he has been the most shafted. Genuinely, he's been the most shafted out of all of them. I know he's not the most popular X-Men, I know he's not the coolest cat out there, but I really think Hank McCoy deserves a big buff here. I hesitate to recommend him, though, or to suggest him, though, because it's cringe how I think they're going to make him a tier 4 and just position him as a leadership / support, like they've done recently for other tier 4s with the justification of Black Swan, World Boss Legend Plus. I think that's just kind of cringe. I don't know. That's just me. I hope they don't do that, genuinely, but I could definitely see them doing that. And then the rest of the ones that are big time yeses for me, and my top 3, the sort of like the crowning jewel here of this video, are right there. Cyclops, Mr. Sinister, and Gambit. Now, they're all blast types, which I know is kind of boring. I genuinely think they could change Mr. Sinister to Universal type, and I think they should strongly consider doing so. Netmarble, developers, you have my blessing to change him to Universal type. I think he should be. He's too strong. If you look at what he did in X-Men 97, he's way too strong to not be a top tier villain. I know they made the mistake of not making him native tier 2 like they did for like they did for Madeline and they did for other X-Men villains, Strife, etc. But he does so much in X-Men 97. He's so strong. Yes, there's Bastion, and for sure Bastion could be a new character as well, or it could be a uniform for Nimrod, whatever. But I think Mr. Sinister deserves a ton of praise, and I think they kind of laid the tracks for him to get a really good tier 4 and be really strong in the future. They gave him 30% damage reduction. They gave him the this sort of like half HP heal up with the debuff cleanse, and then they gave him guard break immunity. That's very good. It's very, very strong here for PvP. So they sort of have laid the tracks down. And then on top of that, they gave him the immortality artifact. So this to me screams like future potential. I could absolutely see them giving Mr. Sinister a tier 4, giving him some extra weapons, maybe Reflect or something like that, and turning him into an absolute powerhouse. I think that would be fantastic. I think it would perfectly fit thematically with the X-Men 97 update, and I honestly think he deserves it. He's a premium character who has basically never been good, despite their attempts at trying to make him good. So yeah, I think he absolutely deserves it. He's, in my opinion, he's my #1 choice. Just because of how influential he is in the series and how bad he's been in the game until now, and the fact that he is premium. My second choice after Bastion would be, it's kind of split 50-50 between Gambit and Cyclops, right? On the side of Gambit, it's pretty obvious. He sacrifices himself. He is basically the hero of the series, and he deserves, you know, a hero's welcome. He deserves a tier 4, man. Like, he deserves to just kick ass, absolutely. And it would be a brand new look for him, as we talked about in a previous video ad nauseum. But I also feel like Cyclops kind of deserves it more. Like, because of most of what we're talking about in the video is new uniforms, right? Based on the X-Men 97 show. Who deserves it more than the guy who is, to date, in 2 years of releasing tier 4s, the only one to ever get a tier 4 and nothing else, right? Just the pure disrespect of Cyclops to give him a tier 4 and never follow it up with a uniform. Remember all of the lying and the self-gaslighting and the copium in January when we were like, yeah, they're definitely going to give Cyclops a uniform later, guys. Don't worry. Guys, Cyclops uniform, 2 weeks. We'll be laughing about this, bro. Cyclops meta incoming. Bro, that shit's crickets. And that's actually kind of sad. Like, that actually genuinely makes me sad, because it normally makes me sad, and it is disrespectful to the character. I'm not even a big fan of Cyclops before X-Men 97, mind you, but it's just disrespectful, right? They've never done this before, where they release a tier 4 with no uniform. It's hugely disrespectful. But then I watched X-Men 97, and I got a massive hard-on for Cyclops. He's amazing in that show. He fucks, bro. He fucks. He's awesome in that show. He's a genuine leader. He kicks so much ass. He's poignant when he talks to his son. Like, he made me feel real feelings, and it made me even more pissed that they did this to him. So they absolutely have to rectify this situation, and they have to give him an absolutely insane uniform. They have to give him a uniform that makes him, like, legitimately super meta, because they have done him so dirty. And what the hell is his tier 4 ability? He gets additional pierce, he gets healing, and he increases attack. That's pretty good. Honestly, that's pretty good. They should give him final damage. They should Black Bolt his ass and give him final damage. But honestly, I think it's high time that Cyclops actually gets a strong uniform and actually is, you know, he should be like the male version of Sharon Rogers. And he should just like boom, like just like explode bosses' asses and guts and shit, man. I would totally tier 4 him in a heartbeat. So yeah, that's kind of the video. I wanted to mostly focus on these guys. I actually was also thinking about maybe doing a little bit of a PvP showcase. Not exactly a showcase, more like depression case with Mr. Sinister, because he has guard break immunity. So you can use something like this, like Adam Warlock, right? Kind of cool. But we'll get to that maybe in a later video if you guys like the idea. In the meantime, let me know what you guys are most excited about for a potential X-Men 97 update. And yeah. Oh, I also didn't mention Nightcrawler. Yes, Nightcrawler also deserves a big upgrade. He's been neglected for a long time. Yes. Yeah, he kicks major ass in X-Men 97, and he deserves it. He would be my #4 pick. But yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of a potential X-Men 97 update. Are you very hype, and who do you want to see? Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.